Hey guys, Chris Desmond here from the Uncomfortable is Okay podcast, back again with another little mini episode for you. This one's entitled Being Your Friend. Being your friend is an idea that I've been trying to incorporate into my life over the past few years. When I first began to get out of my comfort zone again after being stuck in a rut, it was pretty confronting, and this was a skill that I needed to develop to help me do that. Getting out of our comfort zone is hard. We're taking on something that usually we haven't done before, and very rarely are we going to be good at it straight away, although there are always exceptions to that rule, and usually those people annoy us a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm not good at something straight away, that little voice of the inner critic pops up into my head. You're shit at this, just like the last thing you tried. Why do you bother? Just stick with what you know that you're good at. Why are you even trying to do that in the first place? It's probably not going to be that good in the long term anyway. However, when you start asking people, most of them have some version of this going on inside their heads. When we're taking on a challenge or when life gets hard, that little bastard voice pops back up. It can wear you down, especially if you can't overcome the challenge quickly. That little critic inside your head constantly berates you until you give up and step back into your comfort zone. You end up with less confidence than you had when you started, and consequently, your comfort zone has shrunk a bit. This can turn into a negative spiral until you're perpetually stuck in your comfort zone and you end up living an unhealthy, unfulfilling life. Some people have become good at answering back to their inner critic, putting it back in its place. And this is a valuable skill to develop and one that I'm trying to work on myself, but am very much a beginner at. So much so that my inner critic berates me for how bad I am at answering back to it. But like most people, before they get to this stage, I've first had to become aware of what my inner critic is saying to me. Then I have to stop and think about it before reacting. And a valuable question to ask ourselves is this true? If you don't have an answer for it, that's okay. But it probably means that you need to spend some time thinking about that concept and what your inner critic was telling you there. But it's the time that I don't have an answer to that question that the be your friend concept comes into play. It's a strategy that I use to stop that negative spiral. When your inner critic is berating you and you can't answer back, then ask yourself the question, would I speak to my mate like this? If the answer is no, then you're likely being way too harsh on yourself. I'll take a couple of deep breaths and say to myself, I'm my friend. Usually inside my head, especially if there are people around. Although it's pretty cool to say it out loud and it gives you a little bit of kind of extra oomph with it. And it takes practice to be aware of these moments and then to become good at telling yourself that you are your friend. But it's a strategy that has worked well for me. If you would talk to your mates like that, then you might be a bit of a dick, and you should probably look at that as well. Life is hard. It's important that we go easy on ourselves when we're uncomfortable, but that is different from not getting uncomfortable in the first place. Thank you guys for getting uncomfortable with me today.